Hey everyone, welcome to the Nature City podcast. I'm Carl Pradelli, your host, and also the CEO and co-founder of Nature City, along with my wife, Beth. It's been our privilege over the last 21 years to serve over 500,000 customers, bringing them the best dietary supplements we can make. Today's topic, we're going to discuss cranberries. So here's a question. What are the three berries native to North America that have been cultivated? Well, there's blueberries, there's the Concord grape, and the topic for today, which is the cranberry. All of these berries tend to be rich in nutrients, particularly polyphenols, which are the antioxidant-like compounds that put the color in fruits and vegetables. They tend to be rich in these nutrients because they grow in harsh winter climates. In order for the plant to survive the winter, they have to produce extra nutrients to help it thrive. Cranberries, native to New England, have been long associated with Thanksgiving. And in fact, still today, about 20% of the cranberries we eat in a year happen during Thanksgiving week. It's a lot of cranberries. But like many plants, as I mentioned, that grow in very cold winters, cranberries are rich in phytonutrients. And in particular, in addition to vitamins and many different polyphenols, there's one particular nutrient called proanthocyanidins. Okay, it's a big word, but we call it PACs for short, that are a large part of why cranberries are so nutritious and beneficial for you. In particular, these PACs come into play with respect to urinary tract health, which is one of the most noteworthy benefits that people are familiar with. And how they kind of work with respect to urinary tract health is they seem to have these anti-adhesion properties. So basically, they can stop some of the bad stuff from sticking to the or adhering to the urinary tract, and instead it just gets excreted. So one of the things that we want to talk about also is we're going to talk about mostly cranberries' effect on urinary health, both the urinary tract and actually urinary frequency, which is something you may not know about. There's also some scientific evidence that cranberries can help with heart health and gut health and maybe even oral health. But today we're just going to focus on what happens down in the urinary tract region. As you may know, we can't discuss, with supplements, we can't discuss treating or preventing illnesses. The focus is on maintaining good health. So until recently, we really couldn't talk to you about cranberry and how it may help you with urinary tract infections. That changed recently when the FDA issued what they call a qualified claim for cranberry supplements and urinary tract infections. I'm going to read it so I get it exactly right. They said, limited scientific evidence shows that by consuming 500 milligrams each day of cranberry dietary supplements, healthy women who've had a urinary tract may reduce their risk of recurrent UTIs. Okay, so basically saying there is some scientific evidence out there. Look, it's not definitive, of course. It may not work equally for everybody or at all for someone, but this is an acknowledgement that cranberry supplements may help with recurrent UTIs. Even more interesting and frankly exciting for those of us in the Nature City family was one of the key studies the FDA cited in making its determination that 500 milligrams of dietary supplements may help with recurrent UTIs was the study involved an ingredient called Pacran. PAC, named after cranberry PCs, Pacran. And this is the very same cranberry powder Nature City has been using for the last 18 years. So it was interesting to see that validated in this new qualified claim. So the FDA specifically wrote, and again, I'm going to read this just so I get it correct. The FDA wrote, because the study was of a high methodological quality, we conclude that this study provided the most scientifically appropriate basis for a minimum amount of cranberry and dietary supplements that bear a cranberry/UTI qualified health claim. So we think that's even more reason why you should consider using Nature City's cranberry, which is which is the Pacran ingredient, which is formulated in our Alcran supplement, which we'll be talking about a little bit in a second. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Pacran because it's pretty interesting in itself. So now the FDA, besides cranberry supplements, the FDA also said this qualified claim applies to drinking cranberry juice. Okay. Now, the concern we have with cranberry juice is they contain a lot of sugar, often around 30 grams per serving, which is bad for our health. I mean, we all should be trying to minimize sugar intake. And it also adds a lot of excess calories to our diets, right? 30 grams of sugar times 4, that's 120 extra calories a day. I mean, geez, over a month, that's 3,600 extra calories you're taking a month. So why? Well, you're asking, well, why is there so much sugar in cranberry juice? Cranberries are actually naturally low in sugar, okay, but the juice is very bitter, okay. Cranberries are low in sugar but high in acids, so that's why the juice is very bitter. So to compensate, many of the commercial makers of cranberry juice add a lot of sugar to make it taste better, okay. With a serving of Pacran, which is again is what we use, you're only getting about 64 milligrams per serving of sugars. Okay, so compare that to 30 grams, which is 30,000 milligrams, right? So you got 30,000 milligrams of sugar in cranberry juice versus 64 milligrams in a serving of Pacran. That's 468 times more sugar with the cranberry juice. So that's why, that's one of the reasons we formulated our sugar-free Alcran drink mix with the Pacran. We just think it's the much better way to go nutritionally. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about Pacran. Pacran is from Massachusetts, where really the cranberry kind of got its start, at least with respect to being commercially cultivated. I think there was a gentleman who was a Revolutionary War veteran, and he was the first to really plant and cultivate the cranberry up in Massachusetts. Interestingly, though, Wisconsin is actually, I was surprised, Wisconsin's actually overtaking Massachusetts in terms of cranberry production in the U.S. So Massachusetts, you have a little work to do to get that title back. But Pacran, one of the things we liked about Pacran at the outset is it is a whole cranberry powder product. So basically, it's made from the entire cranberry, the flesh, the juice, the skin, the seeds, essentially just as nature made it. I see some other companies who, I guess, get enamored with the cranberry PACs and they're doing extractions to try to, maximize the amount of PACs. We think, and I think the science validates this as we just spoke, we think leaving it more as, leaving it as nature designed it, nature's pretty good at this stuff, is the better way to go. And that's what you get with Pacran. Pacran naturally packs a lot of potency as it's made with berries harvested from cranberry bogs in Massachusetts that are over 100 years old. And many of these cranberries, what's called early blacks, they're the most desired cranberries. They're very potent and naturally have very high levels of cranberry PACs. As mentioned, you get 500 milligrams every serving of our Alcran drink mix, which our clients have been enjoying for over 20 years. As the name implies, you get more than just the cranberry. You also get organic aloe vera and 5 grams of dietary fiber. The idea behind this product was not just to give you urinary tract benefits, but also kind of almost like a broad digestion benefits. So it kind of starts in the stomach, where it helps balance stomach acid levels, helps promote better absorption of nutrients in the intestines, has some prebiotic activity, helps you with elimination, right? Helps you stay more regular. And then, of course, helps you with the urinary tract. So it's almost, I sometimes call it a top, maybe it's not quite top to bottom digestion support, but that was the idea of it. And it certainly has become a favorite of our clients. As we mentioned, the company that supplies Pacran does really quality research. And we were excited about 8 years ago. they came out with a second cranberry product, similar to Pac-Man, but slightly different. This one was designed to help with urinary frequency. Okay, you could probably maybe relate to this if you're kind of in my age range. I'm now in my mid-50s, but as we get older, and this applies to both men and women, we tend to have to urinate more frequently and sometimes more urgently. So Flowins is the name of this new cranberry ingredient. And the first study they did focused on how it may help men with urinary problems that are associated with changes in the prostate as we age, right? The average age of people in this study was 53. I guess that's my peer group now, which is hard to believe. I don't think of myself as that age, but I am. This study, what we liked about this study, it used what's sometimes called the gold standard for evaluating prostate and urinary health ingredients. All right, it's called the International Prostate Symptom Score, or the IPS score. So IPS looks at 7 factors. Some of them are urinary frequency, bladder emptying, urgency, weak stream, how many times you wake up at night to go to the bathroom, those types of things. That last one is a big concern of I know many of my friends who should be using Flowins like me. But anyway, this study basically was a 6-month study, 124 men, so a good sized study. What they did is they broke those men to 3 groups. They had a placebo group and then 2 groups with Flowins. The first was taking 250 milligrams a day. The next group was taking 500 milligrams a day. And both Flowins groups made impressive improvements in the IPS score on average. However, the 500 milligram serving size was much better in our view. Sometimes, you see with these types of studies where there might be a marginally better outcome with the higher serving size. In this case, it wasn't quite double, but it was meaningful enough to where we decided to add the full 500 milligrams of Flowins to our True Prostate formula, which, by the way, also has 6 other nutrients shown to help with prostate and urinary health in different ways. But certainly, we view Flowins as one of the main feature ingredients of that product. And I'm really happy. I think we've had Flowins in True Prostate for about 4 or 5 years now. And, I think it's been, I think people have been really, really happy with it. And I know I'm personally very happy with it. And for the ladies, more recently, Flowins was the subject of a study to help with urinary frequency and urgency, a problem for women as they age. Obviously, they don't have prostates, but they too struggle with this as they age. And this one only used 500 milligrams of Flowins, but again was found to be very beneficial. I'd say Flowins is, to my knowledge, the only cranberry ingredient that's found to help both men and women with urinary health, respective urinary frequency. So that's exciting. Ladies, we don't currently have a specific product dedicated to women for urinary health with Flowins. We're working on it. You can, in the meantime, use True Prostate. I know that doesn't sound like something you may want to do, but all the ingredients in True Prostate have been used in other ways for men and women. So there's no reason you can't use it if you desire. But we are hoping sometime in the near future, not too distant future, to have a woman's product along with our True Prostate products. So cranberry, exciting ingredient. So 2 takeaways from today's episode. 1, we recommend selecting a whole cranberry ingredient in your supplements. By whole, again, we mean made from the juice, skin, seed, and flesh of the cranberry. And 2, we recommend getting at least 500 milligrams a day to get both the urinary tract support and help with urinary frequency. If you are new to the HSC family, we'd love the chance to serve you. You can click the links below in the YouTube description or podcast show notes, and you'll find a special discount on our cranberry products to welcome you to the family. And in case you don't know, we also offer a 1-year money-back guarantee on all purchases. In addition, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel to see future episodes. This is Carl Pradelli, and I will see you next week.